Hey guys, I tried filming this project once already, but my SD card died and I lost all the footage of making these things. But I figured I'd go ahead and talk about them before I finish them up. And these are a series of handles. These are the first ones I tried making, and then the second one, then I took this piece of rebar and I made up this one, and these two. And I finally kind of decided on this design here. I'm making these for a box, like a wooden trunk kind of deal. And I'm just about to powder coat the ones I got. I'll show them to you. I've got 8 of these, 4 here and 4 over there. And I just actually pulled these out of the oven. I like to preheat before I do my powder coating, because sometimes when you preheat it, it kind of brings out some of the stuff that's in the middle that would screw up your finish. But anyway, these look pretty good. I also distressed the top of these carriage bolts here by putting them in the fire and heating them up. And took this piece of channel, drilled a hole in there when the head of the bolt was red hot, put her in there and hit her with the ball peen a little bit. This is coal stove, relatively new to us, and as opposed to using my forge because the weather was real bad, I've been using this, and that works pretty good because that's a nice big hot bed. This is the 1/4 inch square, round stock that I was working with, and I took this and I pounded this little point in here, and that's what I use as a tool to make this square hole in these in the leaves at the bottom of these handles. And that way there, the head of the carriage will have something to lock into when you're trying to put a nut on the other side. Oh, and this is high temp masking tape for the powder coating. I don't want any powder to screw up these threads here on the end. Most of this is going to be the wood that it passes through on the box, so that'll be okay. And once I'm done powder coating, I'm going to take my black oxide kit, just like a cold bluing kit, and I'll do that with these threads on the very end, so they've got some kind of a protection on them. Sometimes it's hard to get rid of the corners. That's good enough. And you're supposed to check that every 5 minutes until it's completely melted everywhere, all flowed out. And then you drop the temperature down to 400. Alright, time's up. It's been 20 minutes since they flowed out. I changed it from 450 to 400. That'll focus on. I wish I had a flat, but all I had was this, like a satin black. But that's okay. Okay, we've got our bolts here, and these came right out of the oven after they were cleaned and heated and powder coated, so they're nice and clean. I haven't touched them yet. So now I'll be able to take my black oxide kit here, which I got from a company called Caswell, and this is pretty much the only thing they give you, and it's a 1 to 9 mixture. You put 1 part of this with 9 parts water. Now when I first mixed this up, it was nowhere near this milky. I mixed this up about a year ago. I'm not really sure what kind of results we're going to get here, but I guess we'll find out. Okay, it's been about 3 or 4 minutes. And I've got 2 minutes until I'm supposed to go pull those parts out of the oven, so we're going to do this quick. Now you can go as little as 30 seconds, it says in the instructions for this blackening kit. And what we're supposed to do as soon as we take them out is we're supposed to immediately dip them in the penetrating sealer, which also came in the kit. They always look nice and black when you first pull them out, but they tend to lighten up a little bit. Okay, now I just give them a dip. I just let them kind of sit on the cap still wet. I have let them soak completely for 1 to 2 minutes. It doesn't really seem to make a difference. Okay, let's get these bolts out. See how this black oxide looks on them. Now they shouldn't be anywhere near the same look as the powder coating, but they still should be protected. This flashlight's probably gonna be too much light. Oh, there you go. You can tell the difference. But still, there's some kind of a protective coating on here that's going to keep it from rusting up because this was sandblasted. You can see in this one it looks real kind of rusty looking. And the black oxide is a rust finish. I mean, it oxidizes it, but that's a little more rusty looking than I would have expected. Probably has something to do with that mixture is so old, but you won't see that. This end looks good that you'll see, so I'm not gonna worry about it. I would like to try doing some of the hot bluing, like the bluing salts and the big heated tables and all that stuff. I think that'd give it a lot better finish. It's quite the process, but I think you'll get a lot better results. Because this, I've done some other bolts with this cold bluing or black oxide, we're going to call it, and it's not the greatest. I've touched up some firearms that had some like holster rub, stuff like that, and it works, but it doesn't last long, and it's just not as durable. Okay, before we look at the handles themselves, I figured to look at the hardware. I think they came out pretty decent. There's always the ones where you've got the little spot where it's missing, and that's where the wire was, where it was hanging, so it kind of shielded that little spot at the top. That's kind of a bummer. I wasn't getting too fussy though. I could have went back and touched those up as I saw them before I put them in the oven, but it's going to be covered by the nut anyway, so I'm not worried about it. I would have liked to have done these in flat instead of satin, but I didn't have flat powder, I just had satin powder. But I think that'll be okay. It looks pretty good to me. I think that'll be nice. Can't wait until the boxes are finished. I can see what it looks like. That'll be another video, and I'll show them all put together.